Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back. It is the 1st of February, 2021. If you can believe it, we finally got through January, which felt like took 7 months to get through. Now we're February 2021. We're kicking off February on the Ted Show with the one and only Fierce herself, Cindy DeCoster. Hey Cindy, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ted.
It's Monday. We're here. We're back. We're doing good stuff in the world. We're loving life. And so we're going to take it a little further on our show on Fierce Forward. This is a great topic, women supporting women, being our own cheerleader. I'm a big proponent of that. But before we take a deep dive, just in case somebody from Mars doesn't know who you are, tell them a little bit about you.
Sure, thank you. I'm Cindy DeCoster. I am the co-owner of Fierce Realty with my husband, Sean. We have developed the company. Fierce is an acronym that stands for fearless, intentional, energetic, resilient, courageous, and do everything to a standard of excellence.
Nice.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to come up with that?
Well, I love fierce, the word fierce, since the reading the book Fierce Conversations with Susan Scott about 11 years ago or so, and so when I started thinking about like what I believe in, what I think of when I see the word fierce, those words just came to me. Like they kind of popped out.
I love it. I think it's good to have an acronym. I also think that word itself can be very strong. And I love that because fierce doesn't have to be a negative. Some people look at fierce and they think, oh God, that's terrible. I don't want to be fierce. But fierce is it's a movement. It's a feeling. It's a way
Absolutely.
you approach things, a mindset. And it's
Absolutely.
very positive.
Absolutely. And that's, I think, why the acronym was so important for me to share with the world, because that is what fierce means to me. Like, do everything fearlessly, like not without fear, but just in spite of fear, and
Yes.
being courageous, intentional, energetic. Like all the words just kind of popped out because that's what fierce means to me.
I love it. All right. So I want to talk about our topic. So women supporting women, being our own cheerleader. I think we talked a little bit before we went live. Women, it's so important to empower other women to empower other women. And we're just talking about women at this particular time. You can empower men too, whatever you want to do.
100%.
But I think a lot of times the speaking of it and the actions don't necessarily go well together. And that could be purposeful. That could just be not knowing how to best support another woman entrepreneur, how to actually help, like especially in our industry, we'll use Women's Council, for example, Women's Council of Realtors. It's all realtors who are technically, if you just look at the nitty gritty, competitors. And there's so much more than that. So there is a platform to support each other. How we do it, I think, is where a lot of people fall short. They don't know how to best do it. How do I promote Cindy DeCoster when I'm in the same industry as her? Or how do I promote Cindy if I'm also trying to make a buck? So talk a little bit about why you wanted to talk about this topic, and then we'll dive deeper.
Okay, great. Well, tons of components to it. So to piggyback on what you were saying, I never looked at realtors as my competition. I always looked at them as my counterpart, somebody to collaborate with. I can't sell both sides of the house all the time to everyone. It's a very cooperative business. So when I found Women's Council 5 years into, sad to admit, but 5 years into my real estate career, it was such a natural gravitation pull for me, because it's so how I've seen the industry. And I never, again, I just didn't, I always believe, I'm a team sport player. So I played soccer in college, and I was always about, I wasn't the fastest, I wasn't the strongest, but together I contributed to the success of the team. And that has always stuck with me since forever. So the Women's Council was, again, a network of successful realtors on a mission to advance women as business leaders in the industry and the communities we serve. Like, it's it speaks to me, to my core of who I am. And it's great to be with like-minded people. That's how we found each other.
Yeah.
So many years ago, and it becomes a cooperation, not a competitive thing.
I love that.
And those who see it as a competition are really flash in the pan. You know, they're not in it for the long haul. They're in it as it happens. And when those trends of the market happen, they're the first ones out because they don't get it from it isn't about you.
Right.
So then kind of segue into this conversation that we were having about we need to be our own cheerleader. So I was at my daughter's weightlifting competition for.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, she's
amazing.
She's a fierce little young lady, and I'm super excited watching her develop and grow. And so what I loved and what I love is that these girls and guys, when they finish their lift, so they know, right? So we as people know ourselves to the core. So we know the time, the effort, the work, the nutrition, the hydration that all went into this particular, in this instance, lift. They know that they accomplished what they set out to do. They instinctively clap for themselves when they get a good lift. And it warms my heart, because if we can influence the young generation that it is okay, it is necessary to be our own cheerleader and be proud of the work that we do. We're not competing with Joe Blow or Sally Sue. We're competing with the person in the mirror. And
yes.
We need to be better than we were yesterday. Not better than Joe Blow or Susie Sal. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I love seeing that in these young people, that they're growing up with the permission that it is okay to celebrate your own successes. That is not boastful. It is not blasphemy or anything like that.
Why not clap? I mean, I love when you told me that story. I think it's so important for us to be able to enjoy and celebrate our successes. And you're right. We've gotten away from that. It's almost as if you said boastful. That's a perfect word. Arrogant. Sounds like you're full of yourself. Of course, there are people that are that way. So I'm not that naive to say that there aren't people that are out there that make me want to scream when they do that kind of stuff. But the genuine people who really are just want to celebrate what their victory was, their success, their triumph, and whatever, small, big, or whatever, it's so important for them to be able to feel good about supporting themselves and being their own cheerleader. I feel like if you don't start there, it's very difficult for you to accept any kind of accolades or growth from anyone outside. If you don't believe yourself that you should celebrate, then why should anybody else celebrate?
For sure. And absolutely. And again, so speaking like generationally, growing up, again, New York Italian Catholic military family, raised in the South of the Bible Belt of North Carolina, it was a culture shock, right? So, but all of the whatever, the moral compass, the fabric of life that I was raised in was very sinful to talk about yourself, very sinful to clap for your damn self, and all of these things when you more than anybody know what work you've put in to get the accomplishment that you've gotten, and how sad is that we were never able to feel that sense of pride in work accomplished. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And so now, as a parent, it is my job, it is our job to teach the young that there is a way to be boastful and arrogant and sinful in that cockiness, for lack of a better, but to celebrate your success, to So so my kids are a junior and a senior in high school.
Crazy.
So they're really like, yes, hello, Mr. Grandpa.
Yeah.
Anyhow, to be able to learn the lessons from our parents and formulate it into what we want our children to learn, and not go through the struggles that we did to become the confident, self-assured, know what you bring to the table person. It's a very different thing. And so it's not like out with the old, this is the new. It is, no, be morally grounded, be a good person. One of the lessons that I was teaching my son, I'm like, disassociate yourself from the result. I want you to focus on the process. If you follow the process, that's what we celebrate. That
Yes.
is the success of good. So take weightlifting, good nutrition, good hydration, purposeful training, intentional eating, exercise, all of these things that are positive. And so when they all come together and you are prepared, then you're able to do. And she did. She hit a personal record.
She rocked it.
Yeah, so I'm going to brag a little bit. So she hit a personal record of 115 pounds lifted in the bench press. And then she hit 2 out of 3 on her clean and jerks and got 110 clean and jerked correctly. And that's to be celebrated. So
it should be.
It should be celebrated. And the fact that they clap for themselves, not like, woohoo, and do a happy dance, but like, yes, that I was prepared, I executed, and it was good. Like preparation. I love.
So how do you translate that to women? I love to use Women's Council as a reference, because honestly, when I joined 10 plus years ago, however long it's been, Cherie Roan dragged me to a meeting, I think, or Linda Sampieri, one of the two. And I'm like, why are all of these women realtors together in one room? It's a little foreign, because collaboration is foreign, because we're taught to be competitive, not collaborative. And so I had to learn the power of the collaboration from that organization.
Yeah, I love that. First of all, that you look that's one of the big lessons that you learn from Women's Council, because there's a plethora of lessons to be learned. And I do think, to take the National Association of Realtors tagline, we're stronger together. Like, we are absolutely stronger together. And you do not have to fail or be held back for the next person to succeed, to be successful, or to accomplish something. It doesn't take anything away from you and who you are and the gifts that you bring, but in fact, it enhances what we do together as a team. So, again, Mr. I'm the realtor, you're the mortgage person. I don't lend, you don't sell. Like, we are meant to cooperate. Like, we are meant to build each other up to help the next would-be homeowner, if not for our collaborative efforts. So I think it's very natural. It's very natural to me. It's why I choose to spend my time and invest my time and talents, if we'll call it that.
Talents is good.
to advance the next woman as a business leader. I think that's what we're to do. I was just talking to someone this morning on the way in, and we were saying, here we have this young generation of these strong women knowing that it is proper, it is allowed to clap for yourself when you accomplish what you set out to do. Not that you've beat somebody else, but you did what you were planned to do.
Yes.
I love that. And where are these young people going to go if we do not shatter these ceilings that we are faced with? So I want my daughter's generation to shatter the next ceilings that we've already opened for them. So
we've empowered them to do that. You've as parenting, like your specific situation, you've empowered your kids to continue to break that ceiling. So if they know that is doable, then they will impart that wisdom on, like you said, the next generation of kids, women, whatever, because it's their natural.
It is.
Yeah, they already know it, so it's not something they have to learn. They're already doing it, so it's natural for them to continue it on, and then those people will build on it. But I think you're right; it's so important.
Well, one of the things I was, Facebook is such a crazy, wonderful thing, and so there was a post that had something to do with talking about I, and I'm like, how about if we talked about the I as in impact, as in influence, and inspire? Like, that's the I we should be talking about. Like, how can we inspire the next person, next organization, next industry? How can we impact, influence, and inspire through our words and our actions? That is the I love talking about.
I like it. We should do a whole show on that I.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll do that. We'll do that as our next topic. All right.
Let's do it.
How do people reach you?
Okay, great.
What's the best way?
Well, the website is cindyforthecouncil.com, and all of my contact information is there, as well as my email address is super easy. It's cindy@WeSellOrlandoHomes.com. And my cell phone number, I'll drop in the message if that's good for you. But if I can help impact, inspire, and influence your actions to get to your next level, that's what I'd consider that success.
Thank you. And thanks for sharing your insights. I think people really do look at us sometimes and go, why are you involved in an organization the way that you are? And you really just have to embrace it and know that the collaborative spirit always, in the end, outweighs any kind of negative spirit and any kind of selfishness or self-centeredness. That collaborative spirit is so alive in NAR and FAR, or whatever we're calling it, FRA, and Women's Council. And so it's so important for us to be collaborative. And I love that you brought that up today. This was excellent. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
You. Well, clap for yourself, Ted. You're doing an amazing job, and you're definitely impacting our real estate industry here in Central Florida. And I'm so appreciative of that.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, we'll be back next week, kids, I think, for another exciting episode of Fierce Forward. All right, Cindy, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.